Hi guys, Callum here again. Now, this video I'm going to do is going to be on promoters and events organisers in the sort of the standard gigging industry within music. And I think for any sort of new artists, new musicians and young people who are playing music out there, it's important to know what to look out for and what to be careful of when it comes to promoters and events organisers. Now, usually if a event organizer or promoter comes to you, they'll often offer you a gig, and then they'll send you a contract over email, and then you fill in the contract, and then you get given your times, and then you go and play, and it looks very simple, but in all reality, it's really not. It's really hard to make money from these sort of gigs unless you've got a really committed sort of big fan base, because usually how it will go is the way bands make money from promotion companies, or rather how promoters make money from bands, is they'll say, just as a rough example, they say, okay, the tickets on the door are going to be £5, you have to get a minimum of 20 people in, and then for every person after 20 people you will get £3 off every ticket price, and something like that. Now, there's loads of variations of these particular sort of ways of making money and stuff like that. And it's a big con. I mean, unless you've got a huge fan base who are going to come down to, every one of your gigs, you're not going to be able to make a living off doing this. It's almost sort of an impossibility. But it is a way to sort of get your band noticed and get into the gigging industry. And there are a lot of good venues out there with good promoters. There are also a lot of bad promoters, and I'm not going to name drop any of them because that would be quite unprofessional of me. The good and bad points of promoters, I've just said to them basically the good points are you get your band noticed, you get sort of realised within the music scene. I live in London, and that's some of the perfect places to do gigs with promotion companies is there, because you get a lot of trustworthy promotion companies in London. The bad points are you don't make much money, and sometimes the gigs can be really bad. They can have really bad sound engineers. Sound check times would be messed up because a band's turned up late and the headline band really wants a sound check, so the promoters cave into their demands and stuff like that. But there are certain things you have to look out for when a promotion company sort of approaches you for a gig. And this basically starts from the word go. When you get that email offering you the gig and showing you the contract, read through it very carefully and sort of measure up how... Because, if you're in a new band and you get your first gig, you're like, great, amazing, we're going to do our first gig, it's going to be amazing, and stuff like that, and you sort of get swept away, you're sort of tired of the whole gigging situation, and stuff like that, and then you actually get conned, so it's like that. But easiest way to look out for is just read through your contract, give it to another experienced musician, and see if they think it's a good idea. If any of you have got gigging contracts and stuff, and you want me to look through them, so I've been gigging for a few years now, yeah, I can look through them for you. Just send me them or whatever. But read through your contract, make sure it's legitimate, make sure you know when you're put on the bill, because a lot of problems I have is when bills are always switched around because some band's complaining because they've got a cough or something like that. But you have to stick to your build time. It's almost important. You can't let them mess you around with build times. That's one thing I will definitely say right now. Another thing is read through the contract, see what terms you got, how you're going to make money, how many people you're going to have to bring. Make sure you can bring that many people, otherwise the promotion company won't book you again. You might not want to be booked by the promotion company again, they might be complete rubbish, but there's just certain things to look out for. And then at the gig itself, if you decide to do the gig, at the gig itself, make sure they're doing their job right. Because in some venues, the people that work for these promotion companies, this is how they work. They know how many people each band have got in. It's because there's a guy at the door who takes the money and then takes a tally, and then he asks people, what band have you come to see? He then takes a tally, and then from that he sort of sees how many people each band has brought to the gig. and then that determines how much money the bands get and stuff like that. But they slack off, and I've seen this so many times. They go for a drink, they slack off. People are just walking in the doors, paying their money with some other guy who doesn't know how to do it. They're not saying what band they've come to see and stuff like that, and it can all be very unfair. Make sure they're doing their job right, and make sure you know yourself how many people you've brought to your gig, because then you can bring it up in a sort of little argument later and sort of try and get it sorted out. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, keep an eye on them, and don't get swept away with the tides. It's not a big thing, although it may seem it, but you can get some of the sort of best gigs of your life out of these sort of situations. All I'm saying to you is be careful and don't get messed around. Okay? I've been Greenish Blue. Catch you later.